John, commiserations on the defeat. Took a bit of a special strike to do it, but what did you make of your side's performance across the 90?
Turnaround from Saturday to Tuesday, excellent. Very good. The first half, our pressure on the ball was superb. We limited them to few chances, if any, and they had to score a special goal to win the game. And we had our moments. We had our moments that we could have punished them, and we didn't. But if we play like that, we're to be honest, we're well and truly in this tie. This is first half. It's 1-0. We're 1-0 down. We're back here. We don't have to go away. We don't have to play away from home. We're back here. So pleased with the performance. Obviously, we would have liked to have grabbed a goal and grabbed something out of the game, but excited about Saturday night now, and I can see our boys excited too because they felt it. They felt it after the game. They were like, "Wow, we can go. We can give them some game Saturday."
Well, how does this affect the dynamic of the tie now? Victory, ostensibly, as you said, it's 1-0 at half time, but that means that maybe they can sit back a bit more in this next leg. You have to go for it a bit more. How does that affect things?
Look, if they sit back, no problem. We'll create a chance like we created with Ben Garuccio at the end, and we nearly got that goal. If they come to press us, no problem. We'll play a certain way. We're ready for whatever they try and do, and we'll play our game. We don't have to panic because it's one goal. We don't have to try and think that we have to do something completely different. We took the game to them in the first 20-odd minutes and put them under pressure. And I'm not saying that it's going to be the same next game. It might be a little few tweaks here and there from their side or from our side, but nothing drastic has to change.
How much do you take out of that extra bit of intensity that we saw from you guys after Victory scored that goal through Brimmer?
Yeah, take a lot out of it. Look, we know that we had a shorter turnaround. Now they've got a shorter turnaround, so it's a little bit even. We're used to playing 3 games in a week because the last month or so that's what we've done. So our players will recover well, and the reaction was good. We didn't leave ourselves open. So that's important because it was 1-0. You can leave yourself open and then cop another goal, and then the tie could be a little bit more difficult. We kept calm, we kept moving the ball, and we had our opportunities towards the end that we didn't make the most of. But all in all, pretty good.
Should you have had a penalty the 5th minute when Lockie Wales went over under Davidson?
Well, Lockie's in front of the defender. The defender runs into Lockie. Lockie goes down. We all saw it. The referee obviously didn't see it. The assistant referee didn't see it. I don't know how, but the VAR missing it. It's happened to us all season, so I expected the VAR to miss it.
And the second one as well? I mean, there was another one a little bit later on in the half as well.
No, that one, no. That one for me, no. The Lockie one's clear. It's clear. Anyone that understands the game will know that's a clear penalty. There's no intent to play the ball. He's pushed him from behind. That's disappointing because, when it's so clear, you expect if the referee doesn't see it, and I'm not saying the referee had a good game, I'm not saying that he didn't. If the referee doesn't see it, then help him.
Did you get any explanation from
None.
Reza? Nothing?
None, as usual. They don't explain.
And just on more of a positive note, I mean, Josh Risdon's first game back in the 11 today had a really solid performance. Looked like he hasn't missed a beat.
Unbelievable. Josh has come back from an operation, and to be able to perform like that in a big game, he shows physically, how good he is, and also just his calmness on the ball in certain situations. And 1v1, he did well tonight because they're not easy wingers to play against, and he kept them pretty quiet.
Even until the goal, it was a largely even game. You're able to stay in front of the ball for the most part. But were you concerned in some aspects of just the Victory's gain of territory over the course of that game until that goal?
No, the only concern, and it's not a concern, the only thing that I would say that we could have done better, when we won the ball in that second half, we gave it away too quickly. That was the only thing. But in terms of them creating anything, we weren't concerned because they weren't creating anything. We were very well organised. They were struggling to break through us, and it was just when we won the ball that at least make that first pass stick, because it's not always on to counter quickly. And that was the only thing that if I'm going to pick on us at all, because in the first half when we did it, we won the ball in good areas, we played, and we kept the ball, and after the goal when it went 1-0 down, we played, and that's what we could have done a little bit better in the second half. But in terms of them having possession in front of us, not creating much, they scored a special goal.
Yeah, there was that initial kind of, let's say, intent to play quickly on the counter, and there was a lingering sense that you were rushing in certain phases of play. But in more embedded phases of possession after the goal, did you feel it? Were you happy with how the team played? With Victory sitting off essentially.
Yeah, look, there was moments that we did really well, and there's moments that we can do better, obviously. But we felt that we could hurt them when they sit off, and in certain areas. They of course they set off because they were hanging on to the lead, and they were trying to catch us, being open and catch us on the counter attack. But all in all, if they do that, we believe that we can still create chances.
Do you think that diagonal is going to stay on the second half?
Is what? Sorry.
Do you think that diagonal is going to stay on the way it did tonight in the second leg?
No, I don't know. I don't think. I think it will be a normal game from the start, and then as the game wears on, then certain things will probably change. But depending on the scoreline. But yeah, I'm not sure if the dynamic will change too much.
Thoughts on how, let's say, your front four were able to, let's say, incorporate the rest in possession? There was, I guess, Wales and Payne seemed to be very involved in earlier phases of possession to get you into the opposition's half. I guess, does that necessarily? How do you? Is there any need to tweak that, or is there just?
Look, we will have a look at the game again and see where we found space and where we hurt them, and where if Lockie and Connor are in good positions, where Dylan Wenzel Hall's how his runs affected their defence, and because we know that playing the way that we did will shift their players. They might change it next game, I don't know, but we'll have a look and see how we were able to shift them and create space, which we got quite a bit of space with certain players in certain areas. No, it's a bit of a strange one, because two legs, when you have home and away, when you go into like a different stadium and you're playing in front of their home crowd, and you come back to your own crowd, that can change a little bit. But this doesn't really change much, because it's virtually like playing two halves of football, really. There might be a few more people here on Saturday night because it is a Tuesday night, but it doesn't really change the dynamic too much. It's different like Adelaide and City. If Adelaide don't get a result there tomorrow night in Adelaide, then it might be more of an uphill task for them. But for us, it's the same.
And the intensity of the team, given the turnaround relatively from Victory having a rest, that must have been really pleasing too, because that almost set the tone for how tight the game was going to be.
Yeah, it was very pleasing. It was really good. The way that we were able to press them from the start and put them under pressure, and also not give them time in midfield. They got quality players, so you give them time, they'll hurt you. And so we're able to use that intensity, and that's a credit to the players. They're used to playing these games now, 3 games in a week. So I'm pleased that we were able to do that, and then because it's first and second are going to get a bit of an advantage, and they should. And 3-day turnaround was pretty quick, but we coped with it well.
John, you talk about coping well on the 3-day turnaround. It's probably a good thing you did, because you did only make one sub today, bringing on Dylan. Is that just a product of looking at your bench? It's basically entire youth players. Do you have no choice? You have to run with your starting 11. I mean, should that be what we expect to see on the weekend as well? You can't really make subs.
No, I made subs against Wellington with younger players coming in. Look, it was the way the game was going. We had to be smart in terms of, we don't want to change too much when it was working pretty well, in terms they weren't hurting us. And sometimes when you bring on players and put them into different positions, it can actually affect the game, and they might not totally understand a certain situation as well as someone else. So, but if we're chasing a game, or if we're really defending a lead, then we will got no problems in making subs.
No injuries or anything to come out of tonight? No one to worry about?
No injuries. We should have probably Lustica back as well on Saturday, so that's a massive positive for us.
And just on Rene Kren, how serious is that hamstring?
He's out.
Season done? Or?
Yeah, he's out. And how well we coped. Again, unbelievable. Credit to the players. You know, we've got about 5 or 6 players out, and we match them like that. Brilliant. Really good.
Like, how heroic was that to finish 9 minutes? If you had your Toople Stanley's Rene available, would Josh have been able to play?
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say because we don't know, Dave, that, you know, what we would have thought about. Josh has looked good in training, so we had no issues in throwing him in, but we don't know what we would have done if everyone was fit. You know, if everyone was fit, then that would have been a good headache for me to have.
Just one last one. Adisu, any chance for Saturday, or is that still a big 50-50
Yeah, Adisu less likely for Saturday.